Hmm.
Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion, and I am Peter over there dusting off, maybe not dusting off, polishing a new poster, and I don't know, going over a few promos. It's Watch Party. How you doing, sir?
Hey, that poster is shiny from the
It is
fresh coat of
shiny.
wax.
Not my best intro for you. And I mean, are they ever really any good? But you guys, we are here with some really great stuff. We got a trailer date, we have a new poster, a few promos, and we're gonna revisit season two. So the part one of season six is gonna drop right around the corner, and we're continuing revisiting these previous seasons to kind of get you guys caught up to date, for those that maybe don't get a chance to rewatch, or re-binge, or if you guys just plainly haven't seen any of these episodes in a while. You know,
Mhm.
I feel there's just certain seasons that people don't often go back and revisit. I mentioned it here a few times that season two is probably the one I revisit the least, but yeah, no particular reason
Yeah.
at all. Even though it's like it's just that one that we love and just think it doesn't get talked about enough. Maybe
I
there's
feel like with season two, with the gap originally, we rewatched it so many times initially
mm,
because also then there were only two seasons. So it was very easy to just you could literally watch all 10 episodes in a night, and many of us did, back between seasons two and three. So on some level, I still think season two may be the season I've seen the most.
oh,
Uh,
interesting. That's a
despite
great
despite the
point.
fact that, it's I haven't rewatched it as much.
Right. No, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. We will just start off kind of in reverse and start off with the new poster, just because that along with this poster there was the caption from the official account, which also, by the way, you guys, if you are still or not subscribed to the Cobra Kai channel on YouTube, go back and start liking a few things so that way it gets back in your algorithm, or subscribe because it's got a huge facelift. Watch Party, you mentioned something about Sony,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
What seems to have happened, and actually, I'm convinced of it now. Sony basically probably bought the channel from YouTube, and so now Sony is running it as the Cobra Kai dash Karate Kid official YouTube channel. Um, So, which is so it'll have Karate Kid stuff too eventually. And if you click on it, and by the way, shout out to Are You Karate Kidding Me? Even the YouTube channel says it's the official channel for the Miyagi verse. So, which
Wow,
they
that's
coined. Yeah.
amazing.
So, that's so the channels run from YouTube. They're gonna do any sort of behind the scenes stuff, and whatever extras could exist, I think is going to find its way there in some way. I'm sure when the new movie comes out, this channel will be putting stuff out for that as well.
Right.
And by the way, when I tweeted this on Twitter X, whatever you call it, and like within 1 minute, John Hurwitz liked that tweet. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, yeah. And so, basically it was doing what it was when the show was still on YouTube Premium. Obviously they dropped ever since it moved to Netflix, but yeah, it's updating with recaps, and they're talking about exclusive interviews and basically what a YouTube channel should do in terms of marketing for the shows that the channel is about. So, yeah,
Mhm.
check it out if you guys want. But yes, in the new poster post, did you have something to add?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
That was
Along
that
with
was my watch hitting the stand.
okay. The poster, we got a brand new poster. We'll talk about that. But along with this post, it did share that a trailer would be coming Monday, and that would be July 1st. So, to kind of give you an idea of depending when you listen to this episode, there may or may not be a trailer out just yet. So that's exciting, obviously, for the fans because we're all looking just for new footage. Now, just a little heads up there, when that trailer releases, we'll have to figure out the logistics. I will not be on that episode to break down the trailer because at this point I have seen part one of season six, so that would be unfair for me to throw out theories or try to fake it, basically, right? So yeah, watch party will be here and we'll figure out a kind of a
We'll have a
guest
guest,
co-host.
whoever it
Yeah,
is.
Absolutely. So I don't think we have anything to chat about the trailer. Just again, July 1st. Watch party. When you first saw this poster, what was your immediate reaction, if you can recall?
A lot of white.
A lot of
I mean, yeah, it's
ethnicities or
no, I meant they're all in the white geese. The
it's
bonsai
true.
tree is white. But yeah, like it's definitely you get that the color scheme. I do think it's interesting that they made the bonsai tree white there with like the golden sun background. I think it does have the eagle, kind of small. I
Yeah,
feel like the eagle's getting a little shortchanged here. Um, but yeah, like I didn't even initially notice Kreese and Kim in the corners.
right.
Like the when I first saw it, like it wasn't even like I thought it was just them. Yeah, so initial reaction, that was it.
Yeah, for me, it was just like, oh man, they scaled back on the amount of characters that they had, you
Hmm.
know. So
Hmm.
that was the interesting thing because every season, or at least at the previous seasons, every season they would add like a bunch of new characters. So yeah, a lot of people in the fandom have been commenting on like the absence of some really key characters. Are you? I'm just trying to figure out
Chosen
how
is
to.
the most.
Right.
If we're just gonna say, like Terry Silver, we don't know what him, so it makes sense he's not there. I know some people would love Mike Barnes, but I think he's not going to be big enough to be in the thing. Chosen is the one I would have expected. As far as my own explanation, I think they want to focus on Daniel and Johnny. If you add Chosen, even as like a main character, regular cast member, like a third sensei just kind of throws off the balance, and or Miyagi-Do, we want balance. So,
Right, right. And you look at this, it's an even amount of numbers. And if you took a,
mhm,
like a line and just put it straight down the poster, yeah, it's you're talking about balance. You're kind of focusing on six of
mhm.
the main students that are wearing white gis. So yeah, a lot of questions, right? Like the stuff that's been coming out has been I think has had us asking more questions than getting any answers. But I think that's also good because you don't want it to be
Mhm.
predictable. The students kind of wrapped around the cobra here, the snake. Like it is interesting that it's missing the head. So, but also like this does look a lot like one of Let's Be Water's works,
Yes.
especially
Hmm.
with like Kim and Kreese in the background, when in his artwork it has like Kreese and silver. So
Right.
very, very similar style.
Mhm.
Also noticing like watch party, what do you think about the inclusions of a bit of the Miyagi-Do location, the dojo location behind the students. We got, like
Yeah,
the
it is
stone
something
and the
I
house.
noticed. I guess I mean, I don't know what goes through the mind of like, these designers or why. It's like a bright look of Mr. Miyagi's house in the background when above it's like dark and stormy. So, um,
Oh yeah,
maybe,
uh-huh.
yeah, you can look at it as like the circle of white, not people, but white people, but just like the white keys and like the bright middle where it's sun shining and stuff with the dark and snake closing in.
I like that. Yeah, it's definitely like the shades of the darkness is surrounding the characters that are being focused in on in the center. So yeah, a lot of interesting things here. I believe Curtis, the publicity photographer, he said something to the effect of like this was kind of like the last time he shot these actors, so at
Oh,
least these
mhm.
poses I feel, were from images that he took of them, obviously. So I kind of
So
always
maybe
wondered,
we'll get individual character shots too, and of these
oh yeah,
poses or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
could be.
that
I,
could
I
that
just
could still be to come. Yeah.
I've always wondered where they got these poses from. Like, did somebody just sit there and draw? But yeah, clearly they are taken from somewhere. So I guess Curtis takes
Yeah,
these pictures,
it's a photo shoot. Like we even
right?
saw some of the behind the scenes where they were wearing those white geese. That was actually on the YouTube channel, where
Yeah.
they were doing that. So,
So I think this is a pretty decent segue into talking about the promos. But the other thing that threw off a lot of people is like seeing Johnny in this white gi when like the early footage, like the teaser shows, him and Chosen kind of in the respective gi
Yeah, he's still
season
wearing it.
five,
Right,
right?
right.
And yeah, so I do wonder if and when we get Johnny, do you think we'll see him in a gi, or do you think he'll be in street clothes like
You know,
Daniel?
maybe he just washes his gi and adds bleach on accident,
Okay,
and that's
it's
the
pink.
story behind Johnny's white gi.
He's been wearing Daniel's gi. Is that where you're going with that, or whose white gi is this? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, I like it. It's just, it's fine. I'm glad that there's not like, 50 characters on there. So
yeah.
I do like that. Okay, so switching over to the X account for Cobra Kai series, we're gonna start off with Kenny. Now I think we have like three. Kenny, Sam, and Robbie, I believe are the three we have not yet kind of shared our thoughts on. And I'll play these videos and you guys will hear them, but there's not a whole lot of things to take. So these are just kind of, yeah, just character promos straight up. There's no reveals of any sorts. But the first one we'll go with Kenny, and let's see here. We will hear what Kenny has to say.
What's going on? It's Kenny Payne here. I started as a new kid on the block, just trying to fit in and stay off my bullies' radar. But when the bullies pushed too hard, I found my refuge and revenge with Cobra Kai. Now my ops run from me. Cobra Kai trained me hard, and I discovered a strength I never knew I had. But they let me down, and I'm on my own, fighting to redefine who I am. My journey is all about proving that even the underdog can lead the pack, so watch out, because my bark's got nothing on my bite.
All right, what'd you think about
So
that?
Kenny Payne, Dallas has been replaced by Darth Vader, right? So that
Yes. Yeah,
my
this one,
name
like,
is
okay,
Kenny Payne. Whoa, what happened here?
I know, right? And he's like 7 foot tall,
Yeah,
just like
I
Darth
know.
Vader.
It's just
Now, you made a very interesting comment on X, and you mentioned like this, like the language, and it doesn't sound like Kenny to you.
yeah, the writing, like not his voice, although his voice, I mean, he's grown, okay,
He's
but
grown.
not, yeah, not. It's just the writing to me. It feels all of these promos. It to me scream written by like marketing people who are just doing their job. Like I don't know how else to say that. Um, they're just trying to. Someone came up with the idea. Hey, we'll do one of these, and then someone got assigned to write this, for each character. Yeah, and it's I don't know. It just he doesn't his language and word choice. It just didn't sound like Kenny from the two seasons we've seen him.
Yeah, and color schemes, like there's nothing to really take from it at all. Now, would you say this feels more like kind of I don't know, kind of a reminder of Kenny when we first see him, or more of Kenny now,
I mean,
despite
I
what
think
he's saying?
yeah, the intent is Kenny now, not when we first see it. Um, but you know, I don't know. I found my refuge and revenge in Cobra Kai. Like that just doesn't sound like Kenny would say, right? Like
Right,
imagine, Kenny, do you know how it feels? Like when that scene with him and Anthony in the locker room, like he didn't say, now it's time for my revenge. Instead
right.
it was more like drawn out and deep.
Yeah, and to what I was saying about like, Kenny now, this promo does make a point to show him as former Cobra Kai student, with no like present allegiance to any sort of dojos. So
Correct. Yeah.
I guess you can kind of take something from that. But that's pretty much it. Just kind of like a reminder, like, hey, remember Kenny? Again, if you're kind of like a more casual fan that don't revisit these episodes, or not as active in the fandom, that kind of thing. You want to move on to whoever's next? Sam, I believe it was.
Well, whoever you want, man.
Okay, I believe Sam is next, and let's stick with the Cobra Kai count. That'd probably help. Okay. Oh, I guess Sam was actually first. I kind of forgot, but it's fine. we're gonna discuss them all here. So here we go.
Everyone's
This
getting a
is
shot. Here
Sam
we go.
LaRusso.
Hey there, I'm Samantha LaRusso, but you can call me Sam. I've been doing karate for almost 9 years now. Growing up, my dad's legacy as a champion was always part of me, but I've carved my own path. And as a 2-time All-Valley finalist, I've learned that it's not just about winning a trophy. It's about standing up for what's right and finding balance, both in and outside of the dojo. My journey has taken me through highs and lows, from battling rivals at school to finding peace in Miyagi-Do's teachings. But alongside my friends and family, I've faced my fears, and I've never been stronger. Now, as we prepare for the Sekai Taikai, I'm ready to show the world the power of perseverance. Remember, it's not just about the fight, it's about the heart we bring into it. Let's do this together.
Right. Your takeaway from Sam, other than that she says that she's a 2-time All Valley
All that.
finalist, which obviously,
Exactly. Like I said, it was just written by some marketing person who had a stack of notes and crossed them off or mixed them up. I don't know, man. Like I just like it's just it really doesn't inspire me. Like, but otherwise, her it's just her. I've carved my own path, balance in and out of the dojo. It feels very kind of lukewarm
okay.
Miyagi-Do
Yeah.
stuff, platitudes.
I think after like it was kind of difficult because like I think Hawk coming second and also revealing like the new logo, it got people excited, and then like,
There was a
seeing
little bit
these.
of something, yeah.
Yeah, and so like these next three revealing nothing else is it's a little underwhelming, right? Like, yeah,
And
okay, well,
yeah, and this may be me. I don't think almost any of them look good in the doing the karate moves. They're constantly cutting in. And like I don't know. I mean like the outfit Mary's wearing and she's like I don't know. I don't think it looks good. Like I don't maybe that's just me. And it like these karate moves all look weird. And that's for all of them, not just her.
yeah. Yeah, I
I don't
think it's definitely the target is just like, all right, just kind of refreshing people's memories if they don't, go in and rewatch these. Ooh, that sounded really
yeah.
weird. Okay, so the next one we will go to is Robbie Keane.
Robbie.
This was the most recent one, just about 2 days ago, I believe this one
Mhm.
came out. And this is what Robbie has to say.
Hey, I'm Robby King. You might know me as the son of Johnny Lawrence, but I've made my own name in the world of karate. I started out lost, swinging between anger and regret, caught up in my family's past mistakes. Training under Mr. LaRusso, I learned discipline and the real power of karate, to heal and to bring peace, not just to fight. From the lows of juvie to the heights of competing at the All-Valley finals year after year, this fight, this life, it's about more than just me now. It's about making things right and finding a path to redemption. It's about learning from the past and building a future. I believe change is always possible, and even the most broken relationships can heal.
Well, of those three, I do like Robbie's the best.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. Um, the
And also,
broken relationships can heal. Seems, I mean, maybe that's alluding to him and his father. So, and he does talk
yeah,
about being the son of Johnny Lawrence.
the whole green aesthetics here, it's a little it's sort of off, but maybe you want like a variety of colors for different characters, just kind of keep it fresh. We've seen a lot of like kind of blue, light blue, colors, even
Right.
Sam, more shades of like the red and pinks.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, this almost reminds me of like, Power Rangers, like Tommy the Green Ranger, just because of all this green. But
Yeah.
um, I think, yeah, this one excited me the most. I feel I don't have a great pulse in the fandom, but I think that people are maybe rooting for Robbie, in this last season. They're kind of rooting
Some
for
people
everybody,
are,
really.
yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people who are down with Robbie, like coming back and etc.
Yeah. It's Johnny's son, though. Like you don't you guys want them to have a good relationship?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my.
Mhm.
Yeah, insight there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing to take away from Robbie's video there. And then we went over the poster, and obviously in an upcoming episode we will have some sort of thoughts on the trailer as well. So I guess at this point we can kind of jump in and kind of revisit season two. So season two was the cruelest of summers. I think we can
Mhm.
kind of all agree, absolutely. So with a sophomore season of a newer show, they're going to introduce new characters as you would, and some don't make a return. You know, at the time, none of us knew whether or not they would make the return, but we'll talk about them. Where do you want to start? Do you want to maybe start with the kind of new characters, or how about this? Just a little bit of what happened at the end of part one. I think a lot of us, I'll use that term loosely. A lot of us thought Kreese died. Somebody thought he died, and just like everything that we heard, right? Like, okay, he's gone, and then we see him show up at the very end. So season two spends a lot of the time showing us like this functional relationship between the two, and they're kind of building up Kreese to be like this, um, this guy that used to be in Johnny's life that disappears, comes back, and he has changed, but quickly. Like what the end of the second episode, we were like, nope, nope, there's something, he's up to something, right?
Yeah, with the standoff when Daniel comes over to talk about Robbie, is what happens. Yeah, and then he runs into Kreese. And yeah. Um,
Right, right. Outside of the convenience store.
mhm,
Uh Here, yeah, it's just a lot of splintering of Johnny's Cobra Kai dojo. Obviously, that happens midway through the season. And
mhm.
Daniel opens up his new dojo, poaches some of those students, and the rest of uh season two is really like towards the end of the summer, leading into the first day of school. So uh we'll obviously talk about the end of that, but in season two. We got the introductions of, or the reintroduction of, obviously Kreese, which we saw at the end of season one. We got Tori Nichols, a new student to Cobra Kai. She comes in episode
Is her
four.
last name Nichols? Are you sure it's not Schwarber?
It is definitely Nichols, not Schwarber, not Mills, not Barnes, or the other ones, because that was a definitely heated debate
Maybe it's
during
Tori
the
Dugan,
summer.
daughter of Dutch
Ooh.
Dugan.
Right, right. Okay, okay. That is very possible too. Jury's still out on that one.
Yeah.
But some of the other characters that we will continue to see, uh, a a student to rival Bert. We had the introduction of Nate, which would come a little bit later as well. And then we had Chris and Mitch early on in the season.
Mhm.
Um, is that pretty much it for the recurring characters?
Um, yeah, yeah, for the dojo. I mean,
Right.
other than a few of the stunt team characters, but
Oh,
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
sure. This is also where we start getting like that. The dynamic of the binary brothers kind of becoming rivals. Um, let's see, the episode.
Yeah, it kind of starts off that like um Hawk from the first episode feels like, Dimitri's trying to bask in the glory of Goprakai's winnings, and then he's like flirting on the beach with the girls. Oh, you're in Cobra Kai, and he's like, yeah, but of course
Little
he's not
Steph,
in Cobra Kai. Then he shows up and has a run-in with Kreese at the dojo, and it doesn't go well. He makes some observations about Kreese's tattoo, and then ends up at Miyagi-Do.
right? And um, yeah, this is where you see we also have like the house party a little bit later on. Let's talk about the bringing back the OG Cobras real quick. As
Mm.
basically a one-off because up until season five, we've seen what Bobby in two episodes, three, because he was at the hospital. He was the little reunion episode, and then we saw him in season three, 301.
No, he's in
No, there's more.
303.
303. Oh,
303.
my bad.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah. That's because it's when
At the church.
John, yeah, at the church, and Johnny's gonna go visit Robbie.
My bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to
Yeah. So
revisit season
Bobby's been
3.
in 2. The others were just in 1. Yeah. So 206, Take a Right. It's sort of the reunion episode, I guess you call it, but definitely you see the Cobras again. Tommy is sick in the
Right?
hospital, but they take him out for a trip, and they're on their motorbikes, and it's like the old gang.
Yeah. What do you share your thoughts on the kind of relationship between Johnny and Kreese, like in the first half? I would say, um, because again, they kind of set up Kreese to
It's
be like, oh, he's redeemed and whatever, but no, he's
yeah,
still
they're the first half is like Johnny trying to find out if he can trust Kreese and building that trust. It extends, he's a little unsure. So episode 1, it starts off in the first scene, Johnny fights Kreese, right? And the fire breaks out. And I always think it's funny, like, because it just cuts away. They're both on the ground and the sprinklers go on, and they like Kreese just stand up and say, "All right, I'll be back later." I don't know. But anyway, that's me. But anyway, so they fight, and then he Kreese keeps reaching out. They talk at the diner, and then finally in the end, Kreese gives him a speech. He presents Johnny with his second place trophy, claiming apparently he kept it all these years and fixed it for him. This is from Karate Kid 2, the beginning, where he broke it. And then ultimately Johnny invites him back. Then you move into episode 2 in their relationship. um Johnny Priest shows up at the dojo. He's gonna just observe. Johnny introduces him as Mr. Kreese. He observes, and of course, that's when the kids are joking around, side dap, whatever it is. I don't even know what that is. I've actually never gotten that joke. I'm just
sure.
revealing now. I pretended to be in on it, but I don't get it.
It's part of a dance move, like you can add it to like a TikTok challenge dance, it's just
Is it?
um
Maybe I
yeah,
don't want to
but it is
search
a
it though.
move,
I don't want
like
to.
if you're
Yeah, I
reciting
don't. I've
lyrics of sorts,
if
you
it's a
can do it
dance
that, yeah,
move, then it would have passed me over. Yeah, I don't too much dancing. So I reveal now that's a joke I never understood. But anyway, they throw it in there, and then Johnny's embarrassed because Kreese is like, "What's going on?" And Johnny was hoping to show off a little bit, obviously, to his old sensei. And then he gets mad, sends him away, and then they're unsure about the cement truck, and Kreese gives a speech, steps in and gives a speech. Johnny could do this. Johnny believes in you. He was a Cobra Kai's best student. That's when the students realize Kreese was a sensei. Okay. Let's see. We go into episode 3. What happened in episode 3? Okay.
fire and
So
ice.
episode 3, yeah, if I at the they're that's when Daniel starts striking back, and then like that kind of instinctively, Daniel kind of don't be a snake in the grass in episode 3. That instinctively puts Kreese and Johnny on the same side, right? Now suddenly they're united. We got to do something. We got to fight back. We can't just take this. They're in lockstep. Daniel did that. Daniel gave them a reason to unite because now they have to unite against Daniel.
Right.
And so Johnny makes his commercial. He sends it to the internet. And then they crash Valley Fest, and Kreese works together, and it's a big success. Moving on to episode 4, there's new students. You get Tori, everything. They're a little impressed, but um, Miguel raises some concerns about Mr. Kreese because he felt like his stories weren't lining up, like the facts or something was wrong. Johnny follows Kreese, and realizes he's staying in a men's shelter or something. And he's staying in the shelter. He narrows it down, and then corners Kreese essentially, and then Kreese has to basically reveal the truth. um he didn't re-enlist in the military. They had these bullshit psychiatrists or something, who say you're not mentally fit. Who would have thought? uh and then they realize it, and Kreese felt like maybe Cobra Kai, he could help Johnny or something. And
Right.
then as episode 4 ends, and this is a big moment, Hawk asks a question about the what else shit. The back kick. I forget. The reverse back
So,
kick or something. And then Johnny's gonna answer and he says, wait, Sensei Kreese. And so that's where episode 4 ends. He now introduces him as Sensei Kreese. Take the question, and then he does, and then episode 5. So this is where we're getting taking you through the story. Episode 5 begins with Kreese and Johnny teaching a lesson together. Uh, they teach, you make a move, even if you'll get hurt, you go all in, and it sort of shows their peak. They're flowing back and forth. They're teaching good lessons, and that's sort of the peak. And then at the end of the episode, or later in the episode, away from Johnny, is when Kreese kind of pushes Hawk to continue the fight after they lost at the mall. And then Hawk goes and trashes Miyagi-Do. Johnny doesn't know that, but now Kreese. So episode 5 begins with Johnny and Kreese at their pinnacle working together. And then by the end of episode 5, Kreese is now working against it and sowing the seeds of discord. How is
yeah,
that for
and
your first half recap?
oh, that is fantastic. Actually, I was about to sit here and see if you would finish the second half, but
Are you
in
asking me
episode,
to?
no, no, not quite just yet. But in episode 4, this is also where we start to see just a slight wedge between Aisha and Sam's relationship as well because of Tori. So like if we remember kind of like the Encino uh the country club, right? Um that's when Sam kind of accuses Tori for stealing her mother's wallet. And then all of that, chaos ensues on the beach, with Robby, with Trey and Cruz, and what else happens in there? But also episode 5 to kind of go back to that. That's also where Moon breaks
They
up with
they yeah,
Hawk.
they basically fought again. Episode 4 ended. You can actually look on Sam's phone. She was texting Aisha, "I'm sorry, can we just talk it over or whatever?" And Aisha didn't reply. Yeah, so that's that. I think it had been 5 weeks since the All Valley tour. I made a video on this. You can look it up. Look at my Sam videos on channel. Yeah, it'd been like 5 weeks. They got back together and then, fought again. So
Right. In episode 6, Take a Right, we kind of start, after like it fooled me because again, episode 5 we end with like the vandalism and all of that over at
mhm.
Miyagi-Do. We open up like to parts of Miyagi-Do, being painted and whatever. So we're thinking that, oh, it's them repairing Miyagi-Do, but it was a kind of a flashback, and we saw like a younger Mr. Miyagi,
Mhm.
in the backyard there. So we have Daniel kind of starting off his new dojo with new students who he has to kind of retrain, who are still kind of like operating under the techniques and methods and trainings of Cobra Kai. Like I kind of forget the question that he poses to that particular group where Nate answers strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir. So he knew that his work was cut out for him at that point. Johnny does take off to the hospital in this episode as well, and has Kreese kind of take over. And this is where Kreese really starts to kind of get in some of their heads with Johnny being away. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add in terms of the story. Well, we learned a little bit more about Tori's backstory with her, I guess, kind of date, right, with Miguel out of the park. Was
Um,
that this episode?
Are you talking about wait, are you on 206?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not really a date, but when they're talking at the dojo, we learn, she has a brother, her mom was stealing food and got fired.
Okay, I was
So
mixing that
it's
up with the
it's
park. Okay.
oh, the park is 205.
205.
Um
Okay, so previous
would
episode. Got it.
that yeah, that was when, she was helping him get over Sam.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, we lose Tommy who passes away in his sleep, but we just get like a little bit more information on filling in some of the gaps of the like post Karate Kid basically. Um, we find
What
out that
happened to Tommy after he died? Did they get him What did they
Insert
put
joke
him
here.
in?
A
Yes. What did
body
they put him?
bag.
Yeah.
They put him in a body bag.
Get
It
him a
still took some
body.
people like a few days to figure that out, when they realized it was like, oh shit, you know.
I'll be honest, I didn't. The first time I saw it,
Yeah,
I just didn't make that connection.
it was an emotional moment. It was an emotional
Yeah.
moment.
I mean, yeah.
Um, I believe I have sh shared before on this at one point before deciding on Cobra Kai Companion that a name that was suggested was like it was something like put them in the body bag podcast. I'm like that says nothing about Cobra Kai. Like that sounds like a Karate Kid podcast. Um, but anyway, let's see. I don't think there's a whole lot to really take from the time with the OG Cobras in that particular episode. But episode 7, LOL, where we
Well,
get
one thing we can just take is none of them trust Kreese. So,
yes,
nothing
yes,
changed. I will also say, Cobra Kai is not a death sentence. Many of them Cobras went on to have successful lives as far as the show presents it to us. Dutch was in jail. Johnny was like hovering back and forth. He kind of failed as a father there. But as far as we see, Jimmy was good. Bobby had a successful life as far as we see. So it's not that Cobra Kai itself is a death sentence. It's the people who make their decisions on their own
correct.
decisions.
Yeah. We kind of learned where Dutch is as well.
Mhm.
So, it was kind of one of those like, we never see Dutch, but here's just a little information. LOL, this is when Kreese makes a return. Was it a make a return to Miyagi-Do? Has he ever
Yeah,
stepped
yeah.
foot in
He shows
Miyagi-Do?
up at the dojo. He's punching the bag, and then Daniel comes in, and they have their little conversation.
That was in the backyard, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. When you say dojo, I still think about like an indoor place and not like Miyagi's backyard as the dojo. It's still
Mr.
weird.
Miyagi's backyard. Yeah, I always thought it was a little odd too, but
I
I guess
know.
I just went with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of stuff. Season 2, like the second half, there's a lot of like, like if you guys would just talk and reveal some information, things wouldn't escalate so much.
Mhm.
So we go to Glory of Love, where this is the gosh, the skating rink episode, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Johnny's
So,
speed dating and
oh
yeah,
right,
skating
yep,
rink and
flip phone, no, smartphone. There you go, smartphone. I knew that didn't sound
mhm.
right. So that was one thing that I thought we would get more of is, that little connection that he had with the I'm forgetting her name. Gina Shaw was the actress. She played the
Judy?
one that no, Judy was Kylie Kylie Del
Oh,
Rey.
oh, oh,
This,
the one like he hit it off with
correct.
at the
Yep.
bar. Yeah, like
Beard, the
after and
bumping.
then it's like I think Brianna just called her female Johnny or something.
Sure, yeah.
I
Yeah.
I know, and I even thought it would be great to go on it, like if she had made her own, she was actually running her own karate dojo or something too.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah, like
Wonder if
she's literally Johnny, and like there's a whole alternate like girl Karate Kid Cobra Kai going on, like alternate.
she's
Yeah,
got her
yeah,
own like rival with
it was definitely a one-off, but had a little potential for more, but it is what it is.
right. There, we get more tension between like the two couples of Robbie and Sam, with also Tori and Miguel having their little confrontation there with tripping each other and exchanges and whatnot. Now, episode 9, this is where a lot happens. So not only do we get one of those like famous episode 9 sequences where these two idiots end up on a double date, and
Mhm.
things are just great, and Johnny and Carmen are getting along, well on this date, and LaRusso and him, after a few jabs at each other, they start to kind of bond as well,
Mhm.
going as far
Having
as like
fun.
calling him by his name by the end of the episode. Nope, nope, that was season 3.
That's season
He,
3.
he doesn't say Daniel until season 3. Okay. What do they do?
Correct.
They just shake hands, right? We zoom in on the handshake.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
They shake hands while they're pulling up the Cobra Kai mobile at the end.
Yep. So they're dancing the night away. All the
Mhm.
while, the kids are over at Moon's house having a grand old time, and it had to be Moon, right? So it had to be somebody that was unbiased to either side. just
Mhm.
right down the middle. And it's just one of those, like if it was any of the other students, well, the other dojo, they're not going to show up, right? So it had to be Moon.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that
And Moon's thinking was, summer's ending. We're all going to be back in school. We're going to be friends again. Moon is very optimistic.
absolutely. Yep, yep, she is indeed. So here we have kind of like the standoff between the two dojos. But do you think, like hindsight, do you think Dimitri, do you think Dimitri was wrong about going in front of all the students and like talking all that smack about,
I
Eli,
don't think it solved the problem.
right?
He had an issue, but that's not how to address it, right? Like, I even said this if you go back to my season two season two review,
Revenge and
it
Watch
just
Party
felt
season
like
two.
it was just like being a jerk back. Okay, he was a jerk to you, but just being a jerk back, it didn't really solve the problem. And
No.
it reeks of Dimitri passive aggressive,
Yep.
like he does something directly to you, so I'm gonna spread rumors about him or something. Like, I don't know. It's more yeah, I don't think it was the best move
Right.
or
And
even a good
like
move.
he was reaching through, like he was getting through. Like you guys saw that
Mhm,
connection about the Doctor
mhm.
Who talk. Like Dimitri, just stick with that, and keep working on it. You're not going to be able to flip the switch and bring this guy back. He's gone through a lot. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
he was going on the right path. You're right with that Doctor Who. They were talking, and then he kind of flipped over, and it's like, oh, you need more Miyagi-Do wisdom, like me. That's not what he wanted to hear at that time. Um, he'd gone through a breakup, and he's looking at his former girlfriend, his ex there, with
right.
another girl. It was all really weird, and I always thought Moon was trying to make him a little bit jealous. That was my own interpretation, but definitely Dimitri. He started off good on that scene with them on the couch, but gave the wrong advice.
This is jumping a little ahead to season three, but just on the note of you kind of mentioning that you thought that Moon was trying to make him jealous. I still feel people may think that as well. With like it like the soccer episode in season three. There's a moment
Mm-hmm.
where Moon's checking out this one guy's biceps. It's just like Moon has moved on from Rock/Eli. That's the way I took from it, but people were always wondering, but I don't think Moon had any like motives or she was secretly trying to get in Eli's head or anything like that. Just Moon was just yeah, she that ship has sailed for her. Um, but let's see.
We'll see
Also
when we
in
get to season three, but you continue.
absolutely yes, episode nine. We also beef that the beef gets bigger between Nate and Owen. Or I'm
At least
sorry,
it's the
Nate and
beef and not
Bert.
the sausage
No, no, not
getting
the
bigger.
sausage. I don't think we get that in season two.
No,
But
that's obliterated. Oh,
oh yes, that's another podcast we cover. But I'm trying to think anything else. So that episode ends with, oh, we didn't even bring up the introduction of new character Stingray, who's also in the very first episode. So if you can remember your first reaction to this new character, a lot of people were not on board. They felt like he just seemed the most off in terms of this character doesn't feel like he belongs here. What did you think of Stingray?
well, for everyone who immediately paused the podcast, went and watched my season two review, as you'll know, as as I said in
The
there,
revenge
yeah, I
review?
was not buying Stingray up front. He went under the name of Raymond. He wasn't even Stingray yet. He was Raymond.
Raymond
Um,
Porter, right?
I yeah. Uh, when I was first watching, like I can still remember it. It dropped at noon Eastern time because YouTube dropped it at a better time than Netflix. Um, like watching that first episode, I thought like, is he supposed to be like a stand-in for the audience? And that was my first take, literally the first time I'm watching episode one there, because I knew like there was like a lot of 80s nostalgia. And of course I had seen the fans, yeah, 80s man was the best time. And then what do you know? Suddenly there's a character, yeah, man, 80s is the best time, man. That was the best time. Like, and I just thought, like, is this supposed to be a stand-in for the audience? And I almost felt like they were making fun of the audience
Oh,
with this.
interesting.
I was a little defensive and was really unsure as the character progressed and unfolded in season 2. I understood they had this idea, so I really didn't think that by the end, but definitely that was my initial reaction.
Yeah, and if you thought he was a little silly early on in the episodes 1 and 3, episode 9, he's got 40s taped to his hand. He's partying with a bunch of kids, at least in comparison to his own age. Which his date was still kind of like, wait, what are we doing here? That
By
kind
the
of
way,
thing.
do you notice Stingray kept showing up with different dates? Like, this is a guy who can pull chicks, one way or another. I know he doesn't keep them apparently, but because he had a date at the Valley Fest and he has a different date, at the
Was that
party
a date
there.
at Valley Fest? I
Oh,
felt like
I'm
that was
certain
just
it
somebody he was
was.
standing next to.
No, 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 no.
Interesting.
I'm almost, because yeah, he was like on a date at Valley
Ah,
Fest and
I
then had a
feel he
date
was there
again
by
at the tournament.
himself. It was him talking to anybody listening. So I'll have to go back and watch that to see if he like is he always looking at just like one person, like a female character? Is that what you're kind of saying? Like there's like one
Yeah,
person he just
yeah.
keeps talking to?
I mean, I think you can find her in the credits. I don't remember now, but yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And now, yeah, episode 9, just so much has going on. Tori's, she's kind of going at it with Sam in terms of the drinking, but then later on, Sam and Miguel have a moment where it's just them two, and feelings are feelings, and they kiss one another. But Tori happens to see as well, so she witnesses this, and just driving a bigger wedge into that dynamic between the two. Um, Let's see, I'm trying to think. Does Robbie know? No, Robbie doesn't find out until during the
Sam
school.
was feeling conflicted after Aisha told her that Miguel returned the medal, and then
Right,
she also
right,
realized apparently Robbie didn't tell her about that, and and I think those were giving her a lot of conflicted feelings, which is what prompted at least part of the kiss and all that.
right. And she makes a comment as like the cops are showing up that she can't go home and have her parents see her like this. And you see Robbie kind of like, you know, there's a little like, well, who else do I go to? And then boom, we end with them two showing up at the doorstep of one Johnny Lawrence. Really one of my favorite cliffhangers. I feel that was in my top 5 because it's just like
Mhm.
it made you want to push play next immediately.
Yeah,
Um, and so that episode, it opens up with Daniel basically showing up, and Sam is still asleep there
the
again. When
final
we thought
episode. Yeah,
final episode, we thought that
yeah.
these two were going to hit it off great, just like in the previous season where they go out and have some drinks. They're coming back and they're going to maybe spar for fun, but then find Robbie there. Same kind of thing, except for now it's like Sam at Johnny's place, and Johnny's also helping them hide out. So again, just one of those like, will they or won't they? These two get along. So the school fight, right? So we kind of start off on the first day of school. We get our little nod to the first Karate Kid film with Daniel showing up to school and hearing "Cool Summer." We hear it as well with our students. Um, Everything seemed fine. They were going to start on the first day of school until in the middle of, I don't know, homeroom or the first period, we hear a bit of an announcement, and only to find like Tori having broke into like this poor girl's like little office where she's making announcements, and it basically calls out Sam LaRusso. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and then the huge school fight. So the fight, I think we can all remember. There's really no details that needs to be reminded, but the way it ended, right? Everyone having all the flashbacks, and Miguel, showing Robbie a little bit of mercy here. Robbie, in the heat of the moment, kicks him off, over the ledge. Sam says, "Robbie, what did you do?" You know, uh,
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
forces him to kind of run off. What could have happened had they had more security? What do you think? You think they would have stopped in
At the
time
school,
at the school, or
presumably they
faculty,
stopped Tori before she leaves the office. Like, I mean, Tori was in the office, right, making that announcement, and then she managed to get all the way down to Sam's locker.
right?
Um, so that would probably be it, right? Like, and they would put Sam somewhere. as
Separate the
she was
two.
called out specifically. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Call the parents, go home, talk it over or something. So yeah, after that last episode, year and a half, we had to wait for, to find out the fate of one Miguel Diaz. Yeah, so the with the end of season two, yeah, it goes into like, well, the full summer's over, but like what the hell happens at the beginning of the school year? What happens to our students? Which of the ones have seen previously, who returned, who continues to go forward in this narrative? A lot
But
of that,
moving on back to Kreese,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
when at the
yes,
very end we learned Kreese was working behind the scenes and kind of usurped the Cobra Kai dojo from Johnny. And then the students were more loyal to him
right,
because he wasn't weak.
including Hawk,
And so, yeah,
absolutely.
so Johnny then, lost everything because keep in mind, also at the hospital, Carmen said was angry at Johnny. She blamed
Yeah,
him. I don't want to see you again. So it's like he lost Miguel. He lost his new, date girlfriend, Carmen. He lost the dojo. He lost everything.
he lost his La Russo mate. The last time they see
Yeah,
each other is in that
yeah,
elevator.
yeah.
Oh man, hell of a season, I tell you. Um, I believe, yeah, I think we mentioned it. The Cobra Kai channel on YouTube, they are also doing recaps. It was a little interesting. I looked at some of the run times, and some are much longer than others. Some are just like a few minutes. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. So, yeah, if you guys want some recaps, we'll check those out. And I'm sure
Mhm.
that they are purposely cut for reasons, with the upcoming season and all around the corner. Watch party, you just mentioned Kreese. Is there anything else we might have missed? Do you think that might be worth noting? Kreese takes over Cobra Kai, and now we're like, what the hell is Johnny to do? No
Um,
student, no dojo.
Well, I guess what we'll include in the second half of the Kreese Johnny story is Johnny started questioning Kreese. He thought the kids were getting, too aggressive. It was going the wrong way. He kicked Kreese out at the end of Lull, right? So that was the end of episode 7. Um, and then he was gonna try to run Cobra Kai without Kreese, but Kreese had set his trap, so to speak.
Right, he sure did. He knew what he was doing. Uh, and also, yeah, Stingray, right? If I'm not mistaken, was he not in Black Dojo too, or am I misremembering that?
Yeah. He was with I think the elusive 8, who were with
Right.
Kreese at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I need to rewatch some of these episodes again just to get a little bit more details as we prepare for part one of season 6, but also after those, the episode breakdown. So just 5 episodes this time. And there's no reason we can't put, I'll say me, I can't put those out in a more timely manner. Obviously I'll have some other stuff sprinkled in between, interviews, things of that nature. Again, looking forward to what they will actually show in this upcoming trailer, for part one. Well, what are you expecting out of this new trailer? Or hoping,
Actually, I just put out
hoping.
a video today.
Oh, well, there you go. Good segue
Yeah,
also to promote what's
maybe,
coming up.
yeah, maybe characters, some of the new characters who may come in. I definitely think get a lay of like the plot, the story. What's the challenge? So, that's what a trailer does. So we know who our main characters are, Daniel, Johnny, the kids. So what's their challenge now for these first 5 episodes? They're not at the Sakai Taika yet, so they're preparing. So what do they have to overcome? Who's working against them? We have Kreese and Sensei Kim there on the poster. So what are they up to? How are they working to rebuild, and what's their plan? So those two ends, what are our main characters doing? What are our opposition characters doing? And then maybe a look at some of the fights and such. Any other surprises, a hint at humor. Hopefully, there's a lot of humor in the show. So those are
Yeah,
some of the main points.
you mentioned humor. That's actually what I was going to kind of tee up for you. I expect, because I feel every trailer, maybe not every trailer, because like shit, I think season 2 was very light on the humor, if any at all. Um, but with
You
season
didn't
5,
send it to the internet? Do you mean the
Oh, yeah, okay.
trailer or
Wait, wait,
the
was
show
that part of
itself?
that one? The one with the cruel
It
summer
wasn't in the
music video?
trailer.
Okay.
It was.
It,
Are
it
you
was
referring to the trailer? Yeah, the season 2 trailer. The only thing is where Daniel's like, balance is my thing.
to kind of start off the trailer, I
Yeah,
think it was. But
yeah,
yeah, I expect because season 5 did this, show us a little, humor as you mentioned. It gave us some peak Johnny moments.
hmm
The Uber driver Johnny, right? I think a lot of
right,
people were
right.
kind of
That was
losing their
it.
shit. Like, what is that about, right? Like, why is he
Mhm.
working and all that stuff. So I am curious to see if at all which of those like peak Johnny moments are they going to show in this trailer to kind of get people talking and questioning and
Are
wondering what
you
the hell is going
revealing
on?
that there are peak Johnny moments?
No,
No.
I am not revealing anything until after July 18th. On
Okay.
yes,
Well,
yes.
every episode has a peak Johnny moment. So, yeah, I'm
You said
certain
it,
there'll
not
be
me.
some of that in the trailer. Yes.
You said it, not me. And so on that note, this time around, they are not asking for journalists to do non-spoiler reviews. So I won't have any there. So there's no like, first embargo and then a second for like full spoilers. But I do plan on having like a really kind of brief write up, non-spoiler, to go up when the show releases to kind of, like a little suggestion on, if you plan on binging right away. Like I just have a few notes to kind of throw out there to kind of help you um how to make a decision whether you want to start it right away. Like, for example, is it worth getting up at 3 in the morning to watch these episodes? Like, do you just sleep in if you have the day off? I'll mention some of those things because I don't want to make a video and have you're gonna want to watch it, right? I don't want you to spend 10, 15 minutes listening or watching me tell you whether or not you should start it right now. I'll just have a short write-up. I'll share on social media, probably the website, just, some non-spoiler stuff, and also whether or not you should watch it immediately, depending on your time zone kind of thing. So I have
Mhm.
something non-spoiler out just because I feel people they kind of want to know, right? Rather than when the embargo lifts, when the show drops, everything's all spoiler free or completely full of spoilers, so
Yes.
that's something I do plan on doing. I have at this point for the very first time have real life reactions of me watching these episodes in real time in 3 different sittings. So that'll be interesting. And I think on the audio podcast, I'll probably like trim them, like stuff in between and just kind of have like one big episode for the audio podcast since it's listening anyway. And if you are listening, if you have watched it or if you're gonna have that play along as you watch it, you can at least pause and all that stuff. When you're watching a video, I think most of the time you don't want that interruption. And so those will be broken up individually. So just a little insight to some of the content I will have ready for you guys when that drops. So yeah, a discussion is being made about a season 6 part 1 recap. So I'll have that as usual as well. So that's it. Watch party again, the video that you're working on and anything else that they can expect before season 6 part 1 releases.
Um, Before the part 1 releases, definitely I'll be here for the trailer. I'll have a full trailer breakdown. And then from there, I'll definitely have many more theories and ideas. You know, stemming going from there, so there'll be a lot of content coming in the next couple weeks.
There you are. So check it out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Watch Party on YouTube. Watch Party One on Instagram and X/Twitter. For me, if you guys haven't already and would like to, because of what I just said, like if you're not following me on Instagram, I'm at Cobra Kai Pod, and I'll have maybe like a post that will work as like a slideshow of my non-spoiler thoughts and whatnot. If you don't want to bookmark the website to read the non-spoiler review when that drops, it would be like non-spoiler review light. Again, I don't want to take up anybody's personal time that eats into what they were hoping to be a binge of the part 1. So that'll do it for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in as we revisit these seasons. And again, we'll have season 3 coming up when we can schedule that, and maybe we'll have some other promos to discuss at that time too. And that'll do it. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.